Welcome back to Uplink. I'm Andrew Hamilton.
Hi.
You know him.
I'm Roy Ogletree.
You guys remember Roy?
Yeah.
He's been here. We're the one-stop shop for all the latest gaming news right after it's been announced and never later than that.
We are the only show on the internet.
You better believe it. Where else are you going to go? You don't know. You don't know the answer to that question.
IGN.
We got a bunch of stuff on the docket today. So we're going to have to talk about a possible GoldenEye remake delay, some new hiring going on over at DICE, a new game announcement from Respawn, some PlayStation Studios news, a new Kirby game, and Bayonetta 3 news. And then we're going to get into the debacle that is the continued existence of GameStop. I'll put time codes in the description down below because I'm trying to be better about that.
Okay. Starting with GoldenEye, the rumored remaster for GoldenEye. I'm reading off the floor. The rumored remaster for GoldenEye has been delayed because of the war in Ukraine. Would you like to explain further?
Yeah, so like reportedly there's been floating around for a while that there's a GoldenEye remake in the works, or a remaster of sorts for Xbox at least, at the very least. But we haven't heard any details, and we keep hearing it's going to get announced soon. It'll be announced at this event, or this event, or this event, and it never has. And reportedly, that's because the war in Ukraine is making them a little more sensitive to the nature of some of the missions, as there are missions that take place in Russia and Ukraine in that game. So
it's quite literally like the first mission.
Yeah. So
if
probably
you remember the movie.
Yeah.
It's the first one.
Probably not the best time to announce it or to release it. I do like that they have more tact about their like military game or spy game coming out than like Call of Duty or Battlefield would.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me is like this won't in any way affect anything going on. They're not worried about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're fighting an actual war.
It's more of a sensitivity thing. Like you don't want to be bad pressed into, a situation where you released a game featuring
right, and I understand the sensitivity of it. Part of me thinks that people in Ukraine don't really care.
The people there won't care. They're worried about the reaction from everywhere else.
And that's
people
that's fine. That's
offended on behalf of the people of Ukraine.
Yeah, and that's understandable. I'm glad that people are actually gaming studios being sensitive to other people. Yeah. Who would have thought?
It's a recent trend.
Yeah, I know. It's good to see taking feelings into account is a good thing, folks. Just remember that when you're online.
You should always care about the players.
Have they begun working on this? Like
it's apparently been in development for a long time. So there was a Xbox Live Arcade.
Files have been already released of it.
Yeah, so that was the version that was released, was the Xbox Live Arcade version. Yeah. That was like they only ever got past the first mission for that version, and the developer of that just like. One of the devs just released the footage, like 2 hours of footage online, which started the speculation they might be up for it again. But there's been a full remake potentially in the works from we don't know which studio, someone over at Microsoft Studios, and we just haven't heard anything about it yet.
Yeah, this is supposed to be. The speculation was this was supposed to be announced. Now 3 weeks ago at the Microsoft event.
So it's supposed to be announced then. There was rumors it was going to be announced at Summer Game Fest.
Yeah.
Rumors that it was going to be announced last year. It's been in development for a while, and I really think that we probably won't hear about it again until the end of the year, or maybe even not until the end of the conflict in
that could
Ukraine.
Be forever. So we have no idea how long that'll be. Yeah. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see about that, or if they just, like I said, just pull the Band-Aid on that. Yeah. But who knows? Speaking
of games set in wartime, potentially we're getting a new Battlefield experience after the, let's say, putting it gently, not great launch of Battlefield 2042. It looks like DICE is once again ramping up to try to provide something new
Says
to
it's
the
your
players.
Favorite game of all time.
I do play a lot of Battlefield 2042. I wouldn't say it's my favorite game of all time. I just play a lot of it right now because I don't have a lot else to play. But
do we care?
I care that they're trying to do a single player narrative. I think it's interesting that that's direction they've gone. Now, DICE, I'm talking directly to you. I need you to listen to me, okay? I'm glad you brought on the co-creator of Halo. That man's a good writer. But listen, do not release this for $70 separate from 2042. You can't get away with it. You're not. It's not going to go well.
Definitely, we're gonna do that.
If they do, it will not.
So, are you
sell
hoping
well.
that it's an add-on to 2042?
Yes, I'm hoping that this will be included in some kind of season. So, like for the version I got of the game, the Ultimate Edition, because at the time we thought that was the only version that contained both the last gen and a next gen copy.
Yeah.
Then they decided to backtrack on that, but I'd already put it in the pre-order. So anyway, we spent $120
Yeah,
on
nice
that game.
couple, nice stack dropped on that.
So, but that version is supposed to come with 4 seasons worth of content. And those seasons are supposed to launch within this year. June is whenever we got season 1, the start of June. So they're not going to make it to four seasons by the end of the year because each season's set to last for about 2 to 3 months.
Right.
So I'm hoping that in order to make up for what they didn't get done and how little content realistically was added to the game, that they plan to release this as a free for season pass holders and maybe like a small premium for anyone who doesn't already have the game or whatever.
Well, they haven't even started developing this, have they?
So
they've started
this
hiring
is
people.
Opening on development on it.
Okay.
This is hiring for the narrative lead and
This would take forever. They're not going to release this, but
no, it's not going to release this year. But I'm hoping that it'll be included with this because I assume that if they want to keep Battlefield alive, they won't try to release another full-fledged Battlefield multiplayer in the next year. Though rumors have said that they have already started working on Battlefield 6.
like it's the weird sort of limbo that these studios have put themselves in with these massive multiplayer.
It's not even the studios that did it. It was the EA as a publisher pushed them to get this out the door so quickly. And
studio being an all-encompassing term for...
Yeah, you just gotta be careful because people direct their hate in the wrong direction. Don't direct. Look, no death threats.
We talked about this.
We just did this last episode.
These huge multiplayer war games that they've now tried to this is what they're a big money pit. This is what this is now. Yeah, it's just. This is where we're going to sink all our time and our money into, but then also to try and add on stuff into that. First of all, my tiny brain can't comprehend how they're able to do that, but also, I don't know, making new content to continuously push this game is really interesting. Well, and so, trying to make more money off of this one-time purchase that people have bought.
Yeah, that's the games as a service model in general is just it's mildly sustainable, but the greed of corporate push really never knows an end. So they don't see a problem with releasing a new $70, $80 game every year on top of trying to maintain these what they want to be limitless potential multiplayer games.
You liked the last Battlefield so did you? I mean, y'all meaning everyone here at the office played. Mm-hmm. The last Battlefield wasn't 1, but
5.
Yeah, Battlefield 5. Mm-hmm. Y'all played that religiously. Did you like the single player campaign of that?
So I enjoyed the single player. It wasn't really a campaign. They haven't really done a full-fledged single-player campaign, not truly done a single-player campaign since Battlefield 4. Yeah. Battlefield 1 had these stories. But
I enjoyed that. They were a little difficult. They were kind of scattershot throughout. There wasn't a cohesive narrative.
Right.
A lot of the flying missions and stuff in that were really fun for me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a Call of Duty where you go from, or even like a Battlefield 4, which people still hold in this crazy high regard.
Yeah.
But more so for the gameplay than for the narrative structure of it. But
it wasn't anything groundbreaking, but the gameplay was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so I don't know. They haven't had an incredible story in any of these games in a long time.
Yeah, well, so back whenever Black Ops 4 came out on the Call of Duty side, they ran a survey right before they announced that game, and the survey showed that less than 20% of players finish the single player campaign in Call of Duty. And I imagine it's probably similar for Battlefield, but I do think that from a optics perspective, not having that single player campaign kind of diminishes the $70 price tag, because when it's multiplayer only, even if I'm getting like a ton of time out of it, it's kind of hard to feel fully justified in dropping that price every year.
It diminishes your player base by that much more though too. I know it's more work, but like it diminishes, like that 20% isn't nothing, you know.
Well, and they've never been long campaigns. They're normally 4 to 6 hours. I know that doesn't sound like a short amount of work or anything like that, but it's overall not that like ambitious to add to the game. The problem is they want everything all the time, but they don't want to like really invest the resources or give the time to develop those things all at once.
Well, speaking of solo campaigns, Apex Legends is wanting to launch I was going to say another because it would have been just Titanfall 3, but like...
It should just be Titanfall 3.
Yeah, going to launch a single-player campaign based in the world of Apex Legends, which is based in the Titanfall world of Titanfall. So
like, what?
No one knows what this is going to be. The Polygon article that you sent me that I read on it kind of opened my eyes to that, because I had known Apex Legends because I'm a big dummy as sort of its own thing, not based outside. And it makes sense that it was based out of Titanfall, but like those are games that kind of passed me by. Even
Titanfall 2 is one of the greatest shooters of all time. If you haven't played it, you should play it.
Right, and I've gone back and since watched a lot of people play Titanfall. I personally have not played just missed it. Missed a lot of games, but I missed it. And I tried to get into Apex during the pandemic when I just was not doing well at Call of Duty or anything else. And it turns out I'm even worse at Apex Legends.
I had a lot of fun with Apex Legends the first 2 months it was out, and then I have not really played it very much since the updates.
But it seems like a game, obviously everyone that plays it has a super dedicated fan base, but everyone that plays it plays for that multiplayer and the ranking system and everything else. But like, it seems like a game that could lend itself. It looks cool and interesting.
Yeah, and there's lore behind all the stuff in the game. Look, Respawn is a fantastic studio. They've done great work on all the games that they've worked on so far. I do think they have a lot on their plate currently, so I find it odd that we're also picking to develop I said we, like we're involved in the process, that they are picking.
If you don't know, Respawn, it has like
they have three Star Wars games,
including the next Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is Jedi
Survive.
Yeah, and then they also have a turn-based game, or a strategy game, and another
FPS
first-person shooter.
Yeah, so there's a lot on their plate. Plus, they are still currently managing and running the Apex Legends side of things and doing updates for that
constantly.
And now they're doing this new Apex Legends single-player game. And while I would much rather it be Titanfall 3, I do think we're probably 4 or 5 years out from this really being releasing. I hope that's how long it's going to take.
To me, it just seems like something that would be akin to, maybe there's games I got to go back and visit, but Borderlands.
Yeah, I could see them doing a looter
as in like style, and it's not the same type of gameplay or anything like that, but that cartoonish violence and things like that.
I imagine that it will be either pseudo open world or it'll be a first-person shooter that follows a linear story that just kind of connects the dots of characters and stuff from the Apex Legends.
Because more so, they all have like background stories and stuff.
Yeah, every new character that gets added is released with a cinematic trailer talking about their backstory and their motivations.
A lot of work for a multiplayer game.
Yeah, and it's like with Overwatch. Like all those characters have a lot of interaction between each other and stuff. So I'll be interested to see where it goes. I do hope that this doesn't put extra crunch on the plate over at Respawn. I know that they've spoken out against crunch before and that they try to have a good work-life balance there, but you guys got a lot on your plate. Stay healthy.
Right. Let's see. Haven Studios. You're going to have to explain this one to me and who Haven is, because
Haven,
big dummy again.
You super wouldn't know Haven.
Nope. I'm glad I wasn't like the only one, because I was sitting there reading it. I've never Never heard.
So they've mostly been like an assistant studio on a lot of things. They've worked on The Last of Us Part 2. They worked on God of War. They worked on Halo Infinite. They've been kind of all over the place. They're founded by Jade Raymond, I think is her name. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. She's a fantastic narrative director and a good lead developer, and so they've been acquired by PlayStation Studios. This was actually announced back in March, but it was finally finalized this week, so they can officially begin work on a unnamed AAA multiplayer game that is apparently going to be a revolutionary multiplayer experience. So much remains to be seen. We haven't really seen a project come out of them that is all their own.
So they're like backup to...
Yeah, but they do a lot of like back-end work that is like a lot of work.
Well, when you name those games...
Yeah, those are big names, yeah. So we expect cool things out of it. We'll have to see how it goes.
Interesting. Well, it just is an interesting purchase by Sony to, like we said, of several episodes, these mega corporations buying up these studios. And for them to... It's like they found the best prospect or one of the best prospects in football or basketball or something, and they're just like, oh, y'all won't even believe what we have cooking up with this guy.
Yeah.
And he comes in and all of a sudden in basketball, it's like, where'd you get this guy? Oh, he was in Europe. You didn't even know about him.
Yeah.
So, it
is kind of like the outside shot. I also think it's interesting that the last few acquisitions Sony has made have been mostly support studios.
To try and turn them into bigger studios?
To give them some free reign to do their own stuff, but also I think it robs the competition of being able to have that support. Because like I said, Haven worked on a Halo Infinite. They've worked on some other third-party games and stuff. I don't think that was the goal here.
Yeah.
But I do think it's like a secondary thing.
Very Machiavellian of them.
Yeah, well, it's like, Microsoft trying to buy Activision Blizzard takes a whole bunch of games off of Sony's radar that they don't really have any influence over anymore. So then it's like, what's the one thing that you could do to take some of that support away from them? Get those studios that are smaller that they're not thinking about, but that do a ton of work on the back end.
Kirby Dream Buffet, Kirby Fall Guys style game coming.
Yeah,
soon.
So surprise announcement from Nintendo this week. There's a new Kirby game coming. We just got a new Kirby game, but this one is a multiplayer Fall Guys style free-for-all kind of battle royale thing, where you're competing in like Wipeout style games and try to get to the end to be able to eat the desserts, and then you got to see who's the fattest Kirby by the end.
As we're all the fattest Kirby.
I am definitely the fattest
all
Kirby.
The fattest Kirby. Interesting. Mario. No, I was gonna say Mario. Nintendo just taking their characters that we all know and then just making games that we also all know based around those will never not be funny.
Yeah, well, it's funny because like typically Nintendo is the trendsetter for a lot of this kind of stuff.
I know, but them responding to something is just slap Donkey Kong on it. You know what I mean?
They're like Microsoft's like, oh, cool, Fall Guys is out on our platform. That's great. Hey, here's a Master Chief skin to put in the game, and Nintendo's like, I'll be taking this game. Yeah. Thank you. And we're going to put a Kirby skin on it. And it's going to be a different experience, but it'll feel familiar. I'm fine with it.
I won't play it. If it's free to, like, it won't be because Nintendo is like...
I think it is supposed to be free to play. Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. Because I was going to say, Nintendo slaps that $50 on everything.
They put out a few free to play games. I think it'll probably be free to play. They may have the caveat that you have to have Nintendo online or whatever, but
which that bill comes out just randomly every year. Like, oh, I forgot I paid for that. I know we said Fall Guys style game, but like Fall Guys came and went for me.
They're still going strong.
I know, and now watching clips of it online, it seems impossible because people have figured out how to just get like it took people 2 weeks before they figured out the physics of that game.
Yeah,
and now they're just just beeline into the finish line.
That's why I like that they do new games pretty regularly. So there's a bit of variety, and you don't have to worry as much about people like learning stuff all the time. But whenever it was just the first like 12 games or whatever that they had that were in the game, it was like, all right, well, everyone knows what to do now, and so I'll never make it.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is I give people 2 weeks to like master this Kirby game as well.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be, and Nintendo not as good at constant updates, so we'll see how that goes. Speaking of Nintendo,
go ahead. You take this one. I have no idea.
We finally, after 3-4 years of since the announcement, got a release date for Bayonetta 3. One of the only M-rated titles that Nintendo helps publish, coming to Nintendo Switch on October 28th of this year. Kind of surprised. We weren't sure what the development status of that game was. It has been a long time since that announcement trailer initially. We got a new preview at the beginning of the year, back in March. So I am happy to hear that it's going well. They introduced some new characters. So I think it's kind of cool that they don't stick to their main character alone, that they keep adding to that universe. Some of the most like frenetic. Yeah, frenetic.
You got there.
Yeah, I know words. I definitely know words. But it's just like a constant assault of combos and different moves and stuff. Like if you played Devil May Cry, it's that style combat, but amped up with stripper energy. I don't know.
That is definitely a term.
I mean, if you watch the clip that's playing in front of us right now,
right,
you'll know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you've played Bayonetta, you know what I mean.
People, not enough people watch this show to like get mad at me, but like, the people that do watch this may get mad at me.
I'm already mad.
None of these like Devil May Cry, any of these games like this style, ever do it for me or interest me whatsoever. It's just too much. You know what I mean?
I get that. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, and so anytime I've played one of these games, I'm just like, I put them down and I never go. Like I just, the frenetic style you said and the pacing of it and it just never, and also it has that like anime style.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not the biggest
Japanese developer, so
I'm not the biggest like anime guy in the world. For somebody that looks and talks like they probably would enjoy anime, like nah, like it's not
fair.
It's not me, but it just these style. Interesting that Nintendo will make an M-rated game.
Yeah,
that interests me because it just this kind of game. I'm probably going to miss it, to be completely honest with you.
They're great games. For me, I think that probably one of the funniest things about the last like few games in that style, especially like Devil May Cry 5, was that the like gameplay was tied to the music. So the better you did, the better the music sounded.
Huh.
So, but like, I remember shortly before the game came out, someone was like, I bet you game journalists are going to complain about the soundtrack and how it's not very good. And then that'll be really telling to all of us.
So, how
there
good
were like
you are
2 or 3 reviews where they're like, in my time with the game, the soundtrack never really amped me up despite constant action. And everyone was like, it's because you suck at the game, bro.
That's probably how, that would probably be me.
Today's episode of Uplink is brought to you by Bell County Comic-Con. Nerd stuff. It's cool. Nerd stuff in a massive location full of other people is even cooler. So come on down and join us August 6th and 7th for Bell County Comic-Con, a celebration of all things pop culture at the Bell County Expo Center. You'll get a chance to see and interact with over 25 celebrities such as Tom O'Connell, the stunt actor who played Darth Vader, plus tons of artists and cosplayers. I'll even be there this year, bringing some of my famous awkward charm. Tickets are on sale now, and you can scan this QR code or use promo code HARDWIRED for a special discount. Visit BellCountyComicCon.com for more information and to buy tickets. I hope to see you there.
We're back from an ad break.
That was great, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, GameStop, Game Informer layoffs.
Boo! Sorry.
Right before GameStop's NFTs following the plunge in the value for NFTs. Explain what you meant with this sentence.
Yes. So, GameStop is the worst guy. Just some of
the worst guy.
Yeah, just the worst guy out there when it comes to game
Mr. Game
retail.
and Stop.
Yeah, John GameStop. He's a bad man, and shortly after paying a couple $1 billion in executive fees, and then also a couple $1 million in a cash incentive bonus to executives, they've decided that they need to restructure for like the 19th time in the last 2 years.
Did they restructure right before that whole...
They did.
Right before that whole stonks thing?
They restructured before it, then they restructured after it, and they are now restructuring again because, and I'll tell you this from personal experience, bad at business GameStop is. They don't know how to please their customers, and they want you to spend all your money there because they want you to associate games and GameStop forever. But it's not going to work because they do things like this. So they laid off a whole bunch of staff. They cut Game Informer, one of the premier game journalism publications out there, probably the most popular game publication out there, cut their staff significantly, fired some of the best editors in the business, fired some of the absolute greatest writers out there, and that's a huge loss for them. And then they fired a bunch of people from throughout, the peasants. They got rid of people that, get out of here. You guys are poor. That's how they treat them. Sorry, I have...
You mean people that work in stores?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh.
I found them. There they are.
Yeah, people that work in retail, the peasants, as you said.
That was me.
That was you.
And so I have no love for GameStop, in case you can't tell. But I also have no love for NFTs. And for those of you who missed our NFT episode the first time around, or the subsequent sequel to that NFT
80 times
episode,
we're talking about NFTs.
This is the NFT and Activision Blizzard show. That's all we talk about. Stop doing bad things and stop launching NFTs, and we can talk about other things. But we've talked about it before. They're not good for the environment. They're not good for the consumer. They really add nothing in value to anyone's life. And they also just hit rock bottom as far as cryptocurrency and NFT value goes.
I mean, Bitcoin just had another dip.
Yeah. And their dips are significant and cost people truly hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars when they dip. So naturally, GameStop, being bad at business, as I said, showed up late to a party that they should have never been at and have decided they also want to lose a lot of money again. So despite not operating at a profit in nearly 10 years, GameStop invested in one of the most volatile markets out there. I don't know why. Actually, I do. The NFTs are a place for people who want to run scams, and GameStop loves to run a scam sometimes. That's all there is really to it.
That card that they made me pay for that I'm pretty sure I might still be paying $5.
Power Up Rewards used to be worth it.
I actually think I may still be paying $5 a month for that Power Up Rewards card.
I stocked up on years back whenever I was working there, so I still have 2 years left. But
pretty sure. I got to check to make sure that's
it used to be worth it because you'd get money off of stuff. But now the literal only benefit is that you earn points, and sometimes you get a $5 gift card. That's it. That's all there is. $5 off of $70 games is nothing. That's the taxes.
NFTs being bad for the environment is the weirdest thing. JPEG is bad for the environment is the weirdest.
That's the most postmodern digital age capitalism sentence ever. This
JPEG of a monkey is bad for the earth. That's why it's 115 degrees outside.
Yeah, what led to global warming? Monkeys on yachts.
Right.
So I don't really have much else to say about it. I just wanted to briefly talk some garbage at GameStop. And
they made waves when a bunch of high schoolers and college kids decided to make them into a meme stock.
Yeah,
they're gonna make They've already tried put 15 movies in the works about that 12 days that happened.
It's gonna be the worst movie ever.
I know, and still they could not find a way to capitalize off of any of that.
No, yeah, they took all that investment and then they wasted it. And instead of doing things that made sense, because the people that were investing were either investing for the fun of it, as
they were
joke.
shorting it. They were
trying to short it mostly, but there were people out there who are like, GameStop from my childhood makes me not want to see GameStop go out of business.
Right.
So please, if I invest in you, do better. I saw a lot of that sentiment like the first few days. Shortly after that, it became just the meme, and then just people trying to short it.
Well, it was also it's to go back and explain something from 2021. They had a ton of investors that were already invested in GameStop, actively trying to short, like hedge funds, actively.
Yeah,
trying
there were two hedge
short.
funds that were trying to short them.
And these meme stock people wouldn't allow them because they kept inflating
literally ran one of the hedge funds completely out of business.
Yeah. So, but regardless, more or less, it saved GameStop.
Yeah.
From hedge funds shorting their stock and completely bankrupting them, which is so a wild turn of events. But yeah, and now they're just taking all of that money and all of this stock and capital that they've earned.
They do what they always do.
And it went back down. Go check Robinhood.
Well, it hasn't been up for a while.
Yeah. So they took all of that capital that they earned and restructured, and then now we're going to use your stonk money to invest into.
NFTs.
And I keep saying stonk because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And take that and then invest it into an even more fake thing.
Yeah.
Called NFT. Which I don't know what you're going to, like, what are they going to do with NFTs?
I don't know. I don't think they know.
Are they inventing NFTs?
It's like we talked about.
I don't want a GameStop NFT.
Yeah, what is it going to be? Just like the bunny, the little power to the player's bunny? Nah, look.
Is it going to be a dude behind the counter saying, "Oh, sorry, I can't take that from you"?
It's a pre-order now sticker. You can use your NFTs to pre-order the latest copy of Call of Duty. It's like we talked about in our episode when we talked about Ubisoft doing it and game developers.
It's going to be like, sorry, we're going to give you $10 for this $50 game 2 days later. That's what it's going to
you can imagine that's what's going to happen with the value of those NFTs anyways. But it's
a great business. It's their same business model.
Yeah, kind of. No one seems to really know what they want to do with these things. They just see that there's a lot of interest in them, and so that they need to be involved somehow. But like with everything in life, some things need to serve a purpose. And if your business model doesn't serve a purpose to your business, and you don't have a reason to create the item that there's an actual demand and a substantial chance of it standing around or sticking around, maybe don't do that thing. And also, if your name is GameStop, maybe just let yourself go out of business. Because,
well, I mean, and to be completely not even fair to GameStop, just like Blockbuster or anything, somehow they've survived longer than Blockbuster. But it was a business model that was bound to fail because I'm no longer buying really buying hard copies of games. There is something to be said about buying it, so there is a little resale value in the hard copy of the game.
Yeah.
And you can make a little bit of return on that investment. But to me, most of the games that you're buying now are replayable and more replayable and more replayable. And so just hanging on to that digital copy has made it a lot easier. But on top of that, you have all these now free to download game, or not free to download, but these subscription models on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, so on and so forth, that it's so obsolete. And where they messed up is kind of where Blockbuster messed up, is not getting into that digital space earlier. And maybe Sony and Microsoft would never they would have bought them out of the market anyway, because they can kind of launch their own, like they have, pay us directly and we'll give you the game sort of thing. But them not being on the internet space sooner and being like, hey, just download the games from us.
So they tried.
Yeah, I know.
Back whenever I was working there, for a while there, you could walk in and you could use your Power Rewards points to buy digital goods. And so people would come pre-order a digital copy of a game, buy it through us, because that would get them points they could then use to take money off of the next pre-order that they were going to do. But that lasted for about 6 months, and then...
Well, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it being almost like a, instead of the Netflix app, what it should have been was the Blockbuster app that you see. Like,
yeah,
it should have been on the PlayStation home screen. Like I'm saying, it should have been a GameStop thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And buy their way into that, and then have a foothold like Netflix did, where Netflix you can download Netflix on Apple TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can on anything. So
the unfortunate
I'm not saying that it would have been sustainable for them, like Apple and all these stuff have sort of just almost started to try and force their way into the market because they have more money than God.
Yeah.
And like just make Netflix even obsolete. I'm not saying that wouldn't have happened with Sony and Microsoft anyway. Like what they're already doing.
I mean, they basically already did that. The unfortunate thing
could have survived a little bit longer.
The unfortunate thing about the whole situation is that despite me not having a whole lot of love due to their policies and stuff for GameStop, they actually serve an important value to the market, not because physical games are a better choice in medium, but because, like we almost experienced this week, we didn't really talk about it at all, and I hadn't put it on the list, so that's on me. But Ubisoft had listed Assassin's Creed Liberation over on Steam as being removed from sale soon, digitally, and that would potentially cause people who have already purchased the game to no longer be able to access it. Physical games keep you able to preserve, control, and hold on to your games for as long as you want, not as long as the developer wants, or as long as the publisher wants.
The biggest case of this is NCAA football.
Yeah, exactly.
And basketball.
NCAA football, specifically the NCAA 14, held its value at $56 since the day it launched, basically, because after they...
And more.
Yeah, and more, but $56 is the last value I saw at GameStop. But that's because they just discontinued the franchise and they pulled all digital versions from the marketplaces. Mm-hmm. Until this week, they had pulled from Steam and PC marketplaces all versions of every Metal Gear Solid game prior to 5. So there was no way to get those games except for physically. GameStop could have served this important role and supported and continued to support older game mediums and provided that service to the world, and they could have just found a way to do that better.
Like any resale shop that's in your, like we have 3, I think,
there's
here in
3
Waco.
here.
One in, Game RX and whatever, or Game FX. I can't remember.
Yeah, FX.
Yeah, and they're strictly... they do sell some newer titles, but
they sell new stuff too.
They're almost strictly though like a refurbishing and a resale shop, kind of like an old record shop.
Yeah, there's a way to make that market work, and the way to do that was to provide older games at a reasonable price so people could continue to play them. You also serve families that have less money because they can't afford to get the latest console, but maybe they can afford to get their kids a console that's a couple generations back. Well, if you got the library there for them, that's a cool thing to do. But GameStop has never wanted to be considered like the garbage bin place or whatever, where you're going to go to buy all the old stuff. They wanted to be at the forefront of the new, but that meant taking market value from their partners. And since they need the partners, they can never really do that. So they started getting scummier and scummier over the years. And it's sad to say that the GameStop that I loved whenever I joined GameStop originally wasn't there by the time I left. No. And it's certainly not there now.
It's weird, and it's almost it's like talking about a sinking ship or something like that. But it's a big corporation, so it's weird to be like. Oh,
I'm not sentimental for the corporation. I'm sentimental for what it represented.
For what it was in your life.
Yeah. So it sucks. GameStop will have to learn the hard way, as they always do, and they will eventually have to pay the full price of what they've done.
They're probably done.
I mean, yeah, this will most likely kill them. Guys, don't invest in GameStop NFTs. Do me a favor. Don't hurt yourself. I don't like that. It's bad for your health. John GameStop, you should know better. But That's really all we had.
Talk to John GameStop.
Yeah, if you call GameStop, get corporate's number and say you want to talk to John GameStop and give him a piece of your mind.
Right.
Don't call your local GameStop store.
Don't do that.
Legal disclaimer, we did not tell you to do that. Anything else?
No, I finished Guardians of the Galaxy.
Woo!
It was a lot longer than I anticipated.
Yeah, I knew you weren't as close to the end
I
as
thought
you
I was done. No. When we were talking last week, I was like, I'm on the last planet. No, it was like 3 levels to go. I started 7 years later, South Park Stick of Truth, because it came with the Ubisoft plugin to the
excellent game.
to the PlayStation thing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's just stupid. It's a lot of dumb fun, but actually it plays really like a RPG. That is, they put a lot of time and effort into it.
It's basically South Park Final Fantasy Tactics. That's what it is.
I don't know how those dudes have the time to make all of the stuff that they make and make 28 seasons of South Park, but
they find time, man.
Yeah, and they're rich for it. But like, that's a fun game, and I'm definitely gonna play Fractured But Whole.
Yeah, and a game they named that. I was working at GameStop whenever they announced that game, and I got to talk to one of the PR representatives that was at GameStop conference that year, and he was like, "Yeah, they named it so that you have to say fractured butthole."
Yeah.
Every time you want to talk to someone about pre-ordering.
Yep.
So have fun with that.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
I'm definitely gonna play that too, because the Ubisoft Plus or whatever it is,
it's all part of the premium.
Comes with PlayStation. I was hoping, because I'm already like signed up on the email, because you got to sign up with your email on every game that you play now for some reason. Just, I don't know.
Everyone's got their own reward tiers.
So yeah, so I'm already on like Ubisoft rewards or something. So I was hoping like, if I have to pay extra to get this,
that would be a no-go for me.
So yeah, all the Ubisoft stuff's on there, which is I'm fine with. I like most of their games. Sue me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. We're getting like another 7 Assassin's Creed games later this month, plus a new cat detective game, Stray, which Robbie will be reviewing for us, and we'll have a review up for that shortly after release. But
yeah,
lots of fun stuff to look forward to. Again, like I said in the advertisement that we recorded right now, and definitely not later, be sure to come down August 5th and 6th to the completely lost.
You got it.
Yeah, all right. Let's do that one again. Hey, be sure to come down to Bell County Comic-Con August 5th and 6th to come check me out and meet tons of celebrities. Don't you laugh at me, Brady Taylor.
Come check me out.
You guys like it?
Yeah.
Come down. Come on down. I'll be there, and I'm going to be just this awkward. All right. But lots of cool celebrities going to be there. Lots of Q&As. I'm going to be emceeing alongside some of our other talent here, like Mr. Pete Sousa, who's somewhere between here and then like up here.
Yeah.
He'd
be out of the frame. His head would be out of the frame.
I would need several boxes to stand on to reach his head. So a lot of cool people there, a lot of great opportunity to get to come talk to us. Be the first time we've really been represented outside of this place. You can use the QR code on your screen here or earlier in the episode if you didn't already get it. Get your tickets at a discounted price. Use promo code HARDWIRED. And for Hardwired, I'm Andrew Hamilton.
I'm me.
He's still Royden Ogletree. He just doesn't know it yet. And we'll catch you guys next time.